Thank you for taking this time with me today. Take a deep breath. I have a few messages to share with you. Each individual, as many as possible, does well to harvest meaning and inner shifts from this time. External shifts are then supported. There's been a great shift in perspective. Do not discount the power of a shift in perspective, both on an individual level, on a larger level, on a global level. Perspective shifts create shifts in priorities, which create shifts in choices and actions, which then transform structures. All kinds of structures, social structures, financial, health, medicine. So before structures change, every one of us look within. We are all part of the consciousness change. You, me. This is what holds the new tangibility of oneness. Each one of us owns that there is something for us, for ourselves, to have an intimate look at within. The minute we forget that, a piece in the global web is weakened. Oneness, consciousness is supported by accepting our part in the oneness. So look within. Look for how to be more aligned in thought, word, choice, and action in our heart with what it is we'd like the world to be. This time we're experiencing right now is like a fast. And just like a food fast, it also can bring a cleanse, a reset. So in a food fast, routines of eating are interrupted. It's the same here. Routines have been interrupted. When there's an interruption of this sort, things are allowed to cleanse. Some clarities about certain things come, and regeneration can happen. What are you becoming clearer about through this fast? What are the positives you've noticed? What are the negatives? What has changed that might actually be more of what you'd like? What has been limited that you now realize you cherish or need? What has been lost? What has been gained? How are you taking care of yourself? At the level of the physical daily life, this virus is registering at the survival level, right? It's affecting many people's actual physical well-being. For most of us, there's the threat to our physical well-being. We're being told to isolate. There's even threat of death for many people and triggering of survival fears. So it's touching into the survival level and basic needs such as money, work, food. So it's very interesting that the phenomenon of this virus is also catalyzing us to come out of survival-based living. It's asking us into a larger global and holistic perspective. asking us to reflect on the ways we've been living, on the ways structures in society have been set up. What everyone I know hopes for is that maybe a shift in perspective will come from all this that catapults us into more wholeness and sustainability for ourselves as humans and for the earth, that we come out of a survival separatism into holistic humanity and earth sustainability, so that there's wellness and flourishing. So in a way, this virus is the vaccine. It's inoculating us of separatism, inviting accountability, sustainable structures, community, connection, flexibility, balance, and new ideas. Change can be slow, especially when it requires masses of people. But everyone has been touched. Everyone has received at least a glimpse of something that causes a shift within themselves. Many have received a glimpse of oneness consciousness. The changes that are desired and dreamed of require a shift in how we think of space and time. There is an opening now, like a portal, for a shift out of a rigid linear conceptualization of space and time into a more spherical model. So this opens up new possibilities for new ways of prioritizing, new technologies that are healthier for us and the earth. It's very exciting. There are people in every sector of society right now receiving their own downloads, their new visions, new ideas, in every sector of society: education, technology, medicine. So this will motivate some movement in new directions. So I know many of you listening to this have experienced shifts in the space-time continuum, in the space-time reality, experienced non-linear. And this has occurred maybe when you're meditating or creating art or doing something you really love. The time moves differently. So this isn't so far from our reach as it may sound. This interruption in the way we were living our lives is an interruption in some of those linear systems and routines, not only in individuals, but larger systems that have been driven by survival of the fittest, by intense productivity at the expense of workers' health, disconnection between CEOs and employees that perpetuates an unfair distribution of profits. Systems and routines have changed, and there is the possibility of realizing that things can thrive in new ways that may even be more healthy and sustainable. How are you spending your time now? It can take time for our psyches and our bodies on a deep cellular level. It can take time for that to shift out of the pattern that we had been in. So if you're still getting used to this, having more space, possibly a different routine, know that that's normal. It's normal for that to feel uncomfortable. There may be parts of you that are voices of pressure to produce, to do something, to feel purposeful, to be busy. And just notice that and realize that there's an opportunity here to incorporate a different rhythm and perhaps coming back to a more natural rhythm of what it is to be alive. Incorporating rest, pause, stillness, maybe more creativity. So pay attention to these things, how you're feeling, the impulses, where you feel peaceful or not. What are you learning about your own wholeness? And for those of you who are working harder and longer hours right now, claim pieces of time for yourself. Pull them out of the linearity. Pull them out of the linearity of your day, even just 2 minutes. 2 minutes looking at the sunset and taking a few deep breaths, or closing your eyes for a moment and pausing. This 2 minutes can expand that moment for you and soothe you enormously and benefit your health. So this pandemic has been quite a shakeup. There's no denying that. And going back to the fasting analogy, fasts can feel chaotic at first. If you've done a food fast, you know it can be tough. Your system can feel confused. It can be dismantling. All sorts of experiences and emotions can arise. But as the toxins are flushed out and the system readjusts, often there's a feeling of lightness and feeling much healthier and energized. And that is possible here as well. I know this time has been very hard for many, many people. I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to all who may be experiencing struggle, pain, and loss. There is some great grief being felt by many. Some great grief experienced. And even grief more quietly in those who may seem unaffected. There is a grief in the collective. With that grief is a dear longing, a longing for more beauty, gentleness, wholeness, health, reverence, care, personal empowerment, well-being, harmony, peace, joy. Your grief for yourself and others, the planet, humanity, this grief is important and sacred. It opens the heart and it opens compassion. Authentic grief can ground the being, can ground us and ground truth. Don't turn away. Don't blame. Don't point fingers. Slow down. Feel. As you move through this time, there can be a lightening and brightening. You were a spark of light. Now you are becoming a pillar of light. Keep finding your wholeness and what supports wholeness. Stand for what you need. Make small new choices that affect your life and the lives of others in positive ways. And when you notice any old patterns or old ways returning within you or outside of you, just take some time to revisit. Take some time to do the things that bring you back. And please don't be discouraged if things appear the same as we move forward. I know there are fears about this. There is no before and after, only the now. If we embrace this new model of space and time, there is only now. Use all your senses every day. Bring your awareness to your senses, to your presence. Don't wish to return to normal. Don't wish that things don't return to normal. Simply pray to embody a new wholeness. May you know the beauty and truth that is who you are. May you know the wisdom within. And always listen to and express the song of your soul. Thank you.